Shalom, this is Avraham Shira from the forest Masuot Yitzchak in Gush Etzion. This is a holy forest. It was sanctified by the deaths of many Jews many years ago, and we are still here as a people, and certainly as a community. It's a place we come to get away, to be by ourselves, to be with Hashem without the common interference. As we understand, the word Yar, forest, is also the letters Ir, city. So, you have your choice, the city, the Ir, or the Yar. But we have, obviously we need both. We need to be with people and we need to be by ourselves. So I'm here alone in the forest, and I had opened up to our new Torah in Patreon, Rabbi Nachman's Torah Kaf, which is entitled in English, the 9 precious repairs of the beard. It's a piece of Zohar by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and his students, where they have a deep and profound discourse on what a beard is, what it represents, why men have beards, and what the interface, I like to call, between the physical and the spiritual, we see it in our beard. Now, 45 years ago, I grew my first beard. I was a 15-year-old guy. I was looking for a little expression of rebellion, and maybe I wanted to be a little bit more of a man, and I wanted to be grown up, and I wanted to, do the things that grown-ups do. So I grew a beard at 15, and it was kind of outrageous back then, I guess. And then recently in Western culture, many men have been growing beards. And I've had a beard for 30 years now as a religious Jew, but it's rather pleasant to see the popular culture also men growing beards. Why are we growing beards? What's going on over there? What's the beard symbolize? Well, in the big terms, the beard symbolizes maturity. It symbolizes the mind coming out through the face. That a person, as he matures, he develops new thoughts, new ideas, new perceptions, new understanding of reality. So as the mind develops that way, the face becomes the projection of the mind. Chochmat Adam Ta'ir Panav. King Solomon taught us, your wisdom will illuminate your face. And the beard is part of that illumination. It's obviously, hair is not particularly luminous, sometimes more than others. But of course, we're talking about the light of a person's face, the energy that radiates from his face. And the beard is part of that. So as we learn and we gather new ideas in our mind, then they come out upon a person's face. And that level of maturity, you can see it pretty clearly. Now, I've also seen that, with my grandkids, when they see my beard, they get a little, they either get really grabby and they want to hold on to it, or they get a little scared or intimidated. And a beard can be intimidating to a person who's not used to it culturally. These stern-looking, serious-minded, scary rabbis, that they do kind of, the beard helps that image. But that's not why I got into religion, and that's not why I grew my beard. But nonetheless, the Zohar is telling us also that these tikkunim, we have to understand, they come from somewhere very high in heaven. That the image of man is, of course, only a reflection of what we call the Tzelem Elokim, the image of God. And of course, Tzelem is from the Hebrew of Tzalam, or a photographer, or Litzalem means to take a picture, and a Tzilum is a picture. So you see that we are like little miniature pictures of the cosmic form of God. And that's a big deal. And that cosmic form is reflected in our entire body, but it especially shows in a person's beard. Now, when we talk about tikkunim, what a tikkun means that God sends new energy into the world and it changes the world. And history has been really a map of God's presence in the world through His will, especially as defined in the 613 commandments of the Torah. Now, of course, there are many, many thousands of new laws that were added onto those 613 by the rabbis over the millennium. Because as humanity has expanded and evolved, the Torah has also needed to expand and evolve with humanity, maintaining the central truth of the original map of creation. And that map is the body of man. B'tselem Elokim bara otam Zohar nekeva. God says, I created the male and female in my image. So God contains both male and female. So, it is not a mistake for a person to address God as a father or as the Holy Mother. It depends really where a person's at and what they need at any given moment in their life. But these tikkunim of the beard that the Zohar talks about are the actual channels of mercy that God showed the world when he gave the Torah to Moses at Har Sinai. Because, mercy is this force field of goodness. It's a mixture of strength and love that creates compassion. And compassion is not a set thing. Compassion is in a growing concept. It is a field of energy for the world around us. And you see, so if we go back 3, 4, 5,000 years in history, compassion was a little different back then. And compassion was not expressed into the world the same way as it is today. And we see that humanity has evolved in terms of its compassion for poor people, for disengendered people, for people who are not in their place. The Torah commands us, the Jews, to be kind to converts and to strangers because we were converts and strangers. And so that's an expansion of God's mercy in the world through human behavior. So each time we reach out with a little more compassion to somebody else, we're bringing God's energy there. We're bringing that compassion further. And those are these tikkunim of the beard, right? And it goes like this. There's a little map here. El is the sideburn. Rachum v'Hanun is the two parts of the mustache. Rav Chesed ve'emet notzer chesed l'alafim, and it goes down the beard. Erech apayim Rav Chesed ve'emet. Emet is the cheek. Rav Chesed is over here, and so on and so forth. Down the chin, we have all the way down. We have Rav Chesed ve'emet notzer chesed l'alafim, nose avon v'fesha. Right? Notzer chesed l'alafim. It comes down the neck all the way to the Adam's apple, and then. The funny one, it's really not part of the beard, but the trait called hata'ah, the sin, it corresponds to the mouth, of course. So our truth is really on the cheek, which usually doesn't have too much hair, and the mouth, which is not part of the beard at all, but it's still considered part of the structure, you see. So all these places on the human face are really revealing qualities that appear in our personalities, they appear in our hearts, and they appear in our behavior. So the Zohar is really taking extremely high ideas and bringing it down to very practical, understandable levels for us to see the interface of the spiritual, these qualities and powers, with the physical, our human face, our bodies, and the structure therein. So, when we learn it inside line by line, word by word, we get more information, of course. But it's a process. It's a commitment to learning. But I come on here on Facebook to share some of these ideas because they're really transformational ideas, and you can sit with them and think about them. And if you look at someone's face, look at your own face when you look in the mirror with a beard, without a beard. Who do you see? What changes in your image? Is that change important? Does that change affect others? Ask those questions. You might see that there is a transformation. And I think the urge of modern culture for men to wear a beard is a classic thing, because men have had beards forever. And it was considered a great sign of insult to cut off somebody's beard, as we see in the Bible, in the stories of King David, where the people of Moab cut off some of the beards of the Jews when they were traveling in their country. They cut off half their beards and sent them back to Jerusalem that way, and it was considered a big shame. And they didn't want to come out in public until their beard grew back. And there are other stories like that, where the beard becomes a symbol of much more than just hair on the face, right? And that symbol, of course, is because there's spiritual power behind it. And so we are living in that vortex between the spiritual and the physical, and I want to bless all of you to experience your spirituality in your physicality, because they really are one. And our mind needs to bring that oneness out, to make that connection. When we make the connection, then Chochmat Adam Ta'ir Panav, then you will see the spiritual light on a physical face. And you will experience the union of our Creator, blessed be He. And God bless you all with that consciousness, that awareness, that sensitivity, and that love of life that we all need so much, especially in these times. So God bless you all. We'll see you again on our daily Patreon class, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Lighthouse, and Web Yeshiva. And wherever the airwaves reach, we'll be there. God bless you all.